Stop everything for a moment. Did you hear it? Did you feel it? The world just shook. Because Kim Taehyung, our winter bear, our soul healer, has been crowned the most handsome man in the world 2025. But let me ask you something straight from the heart. When you first saw Taehyung, do you remember that feeling? That sudden pause, that little gasp, that moment where you thought, this man doesn't even look real. And here's the truth. Today, the entire world finally admitted what ARMY has always known. But before we dive into the story, before we relive the screams, the tears, the pride, I want you to do something for me. Hit that subscribe button. Not just because it helps the channel, but because here, we celebrate Taehyung. We celebrate BTS. We celebrate moments that give us goosebumps and tears of joy. Are you ready? Then let's step into this journey together. Started quietly. A single headline. Few whispers online. Kim Taehyung, V of BTS, named the most handsome man in the world 2025. First, people thought it was just another fan poll. Another ranking. Another pretty face in the spotlight. But no. This time it was official. A global award. A worldwide recognition. And in just minutes, the whispers turned into thunder. Twitter exploded. Instagram caught fire. TikTok was nothing but Taehyung edits. Within hours, hashtags like hashtag #VMostHandsomeMan and hashtag congratulations Taehyung trended in more than 70 countries. Can you imagine that? The entire planet, from Seoul to New York, from Paris to Karachi, from Sao Paulo to Cairo, everyone was talking about one man, Taehyung. And here's the part that gives me chills. It wasn't just ARMY who celebrated. Even casual listeners, people who barely knew BTS, were writing comments like, I don't even listen to K-pop, but this guy, he's unreal. That's when I realized, this wasn't just about music. This wasn't even just about looks. This was about impact. Let's be honest. There are many good-looking people in the world. Actors, models, celebrities. But Taehyung, he's something else. His beauty doesn't scream. It whispers. It's in the way his eyes soften when he smiles. It's in the calmness of his presence. The way he can silence a noisy room just by walking in. And you know what really gets me? His duality. One moment, he's the mysterious man in a suit, sharp jawline, piercing gaze. The next, he's the playful boy with boxy smiles, making dad jokes, holding Yeontan like he's the most precious thing in the world. Tell me honestly, isn't that the reason we can't look away? Because with Taehyung, it's never just about how he looks. It's about how he makes us feel. He's not just handsome. He's comforting. He's magnetic. He's unforgettable. The moment the news dropped, ARMY lost it. Twitter wasn't Twitter anymore. It was purple. Everywhere you looked, pictures of Taehyung, edits, fan cams, heartfelt letters. Some fans cried. Not just tears of joy but tears of pride. Because this wasn't just about him being called handsome. It was about years of watching him being overlooked, underestimated, even criticized. And now, the world had no choice but to see him. I remember one fan wrote, when I was at my lowest, it was Taehyung's smile that kept me alive. So today, when the world calls him the most handsome man, I feel like my heart is finally being seen too. Think about that for a second. How many celebrities can you name who don't just look beautiful, but heal people? That's why the reaction was so explosive. Because when Taehyung won, ARMY felt like they won too. And maybe you sitting here listening to this, maybe you remember the exact moment you saw the headline. Maybe you gasped, maybe you screamed, maybe you texted your best friend in all caps. He did it. Our Tae did it. This wasn't just news. It was a global celebration. But of course not everyone clapped. Some people rolled their eyes. They said, it's just a beauty contest. Who cares? And you know what? That could have hurt. But ARMY didn't let it. Because deep down we knew, this wasn't about vanity. It wasn't about just a face. It was about representation. For decades, the world celebrated only one type of beauty. Western. Blue-eyed. But Taehyung's win sent a message across the globe. Beauty has no borders. No race. No limit. Here was a boy from Daegu, South Korea, who grew up with big dreams, who once thought maybe he'd just become a farmer like his family. And now he was standing on the world stage, crowned as the most handsome man alive. Doesn't that give you goosebumps? Because it's not just his crown. It's a crown for every kid who ever felt unseen. Every person who thought they weren't the standard. Taehyung broke the standard. He rewrote it. And here's where it gets beautiful. When Taehyung found out about the title, he didn't laugh arrogantly. He didn't flex. He just smiled, that soft, almost shy smile, the one that makes you feel like you're the only person in the room. And he said something simple. Something that melted everyone's heart. I don't know if I deserve this. But if ARMY is happy, then I'm happy. Let that sink in. The world calls him the most handsome man alive. And what does he think about? Not himself. Not the title. Not the fame. But ARMY. His family. His people. Tell me, isn't that the real reason he's beautiful? Now let's rewind. Because moments like this don't come out of nowhere. Picture Taehyung as a young boy in Daegu. He loved music. He loved art. He loved playing the saxophone. But he wasn't the loudest. He wasn't the flashiest. He was just Taehyung. Quiet. Curious. Dreaming. Then came the auditions, the training, the long nights, the endless practice. And let's be honest. Taehyung's journey wasn't always easy. He once said he didn't even know he had been chosen as a trainee until later. He was almost left behind. Can you imagine? If fate had gone differently, maybe we'd never have known him. But destiny had other plans. From the day he debuted with BTS, ARMY saw it. That spark. That aura. That something. At first, maybe the world didn't notice. But little by little, they couldn't ignore him. And now, that boy from Daegu is the face the world calls the most handsome. Isn't life magical? The crown didn't just belong to Taehyung. It belonged to the headlines. Within hours, global media outlets were running the story. BTS's V named the most handsome man alive. Kim Taehyung breaks global beauty standards in 2025. Talk shows mentioned his name. News anchors smiled while reading the announcement. Even celebrities outside of K-pop circles congratulated him. One Hollywood actor tweeted, "Honestly, I don't know him well, but wow. The title makes sense." A famous fashion designer wrote on Instagram, "Kim Taehyung is redefining what timeless elegance looks like." And that's when it hit me. Taehyung had gone beyond ARMY, beyond music, beyond Korea. He wasn't just a star anymore. He was a global icon. But the most magical part. People who had never listened to a single BTS song were saying the same thing ARMY had been saying for years. There's something about him I can't explain. He feels different. That's not just beauty. That's presence. That's soul. That's Taehyung. Now let's pause and talk directly to you. To every ARMY listening right now. Do you realize what this moment means? It's not just his crown. It's yours. Every time you trended his name, every vote you cast, every edit you made, every night you stayed up defending him from negativity. This is the result. The world finally looked. The world finally saw him. And I know some of you are sitting there with tears in your eyes because it feels personal. 'Cause when Taehyung wins, it feels like you win. You see, ARMY's love has never been one-sided. It's a circle. He gives you strength through his music, his smile, his art. You give it back by lifting him higher, louder, brighter. And together you created this moment. So take a second. Breathe. Smile. Because this history, this crown, this victory, it belongs to you too. Now the question is, what's next? Yes, Taehyung is the most handsome man of 2025. But if you think this is the peak, oh, you're wrong. This is just the beginning. Because his beauty is more than skin deep. There's music waiting to be written. There are photos waiting to be taken. There are acting roles, art projects, performances, dreams that only he can turn into reality. And here's the truth. Looks may fade with time. But Taehyung's impact, that's eternal. Because people won't remember just his face. They'll remember how he made them feel. The comfort of his voice, the gentleness in his eyes, the courage in his journey. 20 years from now, when people look back, they won't just say, "Remember when he was the most handsome man?" They'll say, "Remember how Kim Taehyung changed what beauty meant. Remember how he inspired millions to love themselves a little more." That is his legacy. So let me ask you again. If beauty could take human form, wouldn't it look like Kim Taehyung? But here's the twist. What makes him truly the most handsome man in the world isn't his face. It's his humility when he says, "If ARMY is happy, I'm happy." It's the way he carries his culture, his roots, with pride. It's the way he never forgets to thank the people who love him. Taehyung isn't just handsome. He is healing. He is art. He is history. So, to Taehyung, congratulations. You didn't just win a title. You won the hearts of millions again and again. And to you, dear ARMY, never forget you were part of this. This victory is yours too. So if you felt pride today, if your heart raced with joy hearing this story, hit that like button, share this video, and subscribe for more moments like this. Because today the world gave Taehyung a crown, but tomorrow and forever, he will remain the man who taught us that true beauty is kindness, humility, and love. Always remember this. Kim Taehyung isn't just the most handsome man in the world. He is proof that beauty is more than what you see. It's what you feel.